Okay, today's biggest lesson was that for me, watching anime to practice my Japanese listening isn't the best idea, primarily because I can't help but want to watch more when I'm watching, and that ends up being more of me watching the anime rather than actually practicing the listening. Last week, a friend recommended the anime called The Ascendance of a Bookworm, and that's the one that I ended up watching and using as my listening practice. And I do think it's actually good and effective in a way to listen to anime, like actually pay attention to what they're saying and matching it with the subtitles. I don't think I can actually watch it without subtitles at the moment. I'm still around the end of N5, beginning of N4 level, but I definitely feel like I pick things up when I pay a lot of attention to the actual dialogue and match it up with the subtitles. It's just that the issue is when I get too invested in the story, I just turn off my brain sometimes and end up reading the subtitles only. So for the first time in Japan, I actually ended up binging some anime. So I think for me, I've realized this is not a good method for my listening practice. I need to find some alternative method that doesn't push me towards spending a lot of time watching more than I am practicing. And of course, if I had absolute self-discipline, this would be a good method. But oftentimes when I'm here in Japan, it feels like there are super full days, and when I would watch would be at night before I sleep. And that's definitely a time of weakness, a time of like less mental will and strength, which means binging an anime is much more likely. Aside from that, today was overall a slower day. In the morning, I had a call with the person that manages the share house that I'm going to move into, and that call went well overall. It's a pretty simple call. As long as you speak with common sense and don't say anything dumb, then you'll likely be able to get into the share house with no problems. After Japanese language class, we went to Kau again, this time with two classmates instead of a friend I made at my share house. So that was pretty cool, just hang out with classmates. For one of them, it was the first time, so I'm glad we could hang out more in a setting outside of class since it's a lot more personal. But other than that, there wasn't too much to this day. I think it's because I spent a majority of the night watching the anime, like I said. But I think from here on, or at least not all the time, but a lot of the audio journals that I'm gonna do will probably be outside. I'm still debating that because it's very, very noisy out here. Unfortunately, I'm near Kyoto Station. I mean, fortunately or unfortunately. But for audio, it's unfortunate because you always hear a lot of noise. But I'm finding it difficult to find the time to keep up with these audio journals since there's just so much going on in a day. So for the time being, this will just be what it is. Actually, once we move share houses, we'll have, I think, a good 10 to 20 minute walk before taking a bus or station. So that'll be a good time to do the journals. I definitely think one of the most challenging things about being out here in Japan is just balancing everything and getting the time for everything. But we'll talk more on that in future journals. For now, that was February 7th. Yes, February 7th, Wednesday, 2024. I'll also be indicating the dates at the end of the video from now on as well. Okay, that was pretty much the lesson for today.